So for today's clay artwork, you will need a ball of clay, a rolling pin, a plastic bag, some sort of object for the draping, and then you'll need to do this at one of the stations that I have set up for you for rolling a slab. So the first thing you want to do is take your ball of clay and kind of squish it and slightly flatten it just to kind of get it going on making a flat, what we call a slab. So a flat piece of clay is called a slab. So just kind of squeezing it in your fingers. Then you want to set it in the middle and you want to use your rolling pin to roll back and forth across the clay, making sure that your rolling pin stays on the two guides that we have. Those are there to make it so that your clay doesn't get too thin. You should turn it and flip it and make sure that it's even in all directions and until it gets to the size that you want it to be. So make sure it's not stuck, move it around a little bit, roll it a little bit more, keeping the rolling pin on the two pieces of cardboard or the two rulers that are going to be the guides. Okay, now you need to select your form. You need to make sure that you wrap it in a plastic bag. So for this, we're using the disinfectant wipe container, but we're just going to use the bottom part of it. So obviously won't cover the whole thing. And so you cover it with a bag and you take your clay and you gently place it on top of the bag. Okay, so set it on top and then you're just going to gently form your clay around that object. Okay, so gently squeezing and forming it until you get the shape that you want. After you've formed it, you are going to simply just slowly pull your object out. You could flip it over and pull your object out and the plastic bag, and you should be left with your clay is in the form of the object. So now you can use a tool to add texture or lines or designs on your object. You could do this on any or all of the sides. This is the fun part where you can use something pointy or you can use different materials to make different kinds of marks on your clay. So this was using like a pointy stick tool or a popsicle stick. There's lots of things you could do with texture on your creation. Again, these lines and designs could be on the inside or the outside. So the last thing we did is trimmed the sides of this so that it'd be a little bit more even. We decided it might be easier if you do the side trimming while it's still on the object because you could push right into the object, but this is another way to do it if you forget or if you want to have some kind of different type of edge. But you can use a tool to kind of cut and try to make it more even instead of it being wavy. But again, it might be easier to do it while it's actually on the object still because you could push into it, kind of cutting with a cutting tool. So gently pushing in and trying to make it a straight line just to try to make those edges be a little bit more straight and not bumpy. And then the last thing that you're gonna do is, obviously you wanna make sure you have your name on the bottom. And then we decided to just kind of add some wavy lines to the edges and kind of make it cool and fun. You don't have to do that, you could just leave it straight. But this just kind of gives it another little design if you want. Don't forget to put your name on the bottom.